The immortal era of Thor begins. We've got 5 big books.
How many?
5 and
Wow.
4 pals this week. All 4.
Ooh.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's the first time I've got to use all 4 of our names too. So
Oh yeah.
Is it really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's
whoa.
amazing. So, of course, we have to be reviewing Immortal Thor #1. Very excited to talk about that. We'll be talking about that up front. We've also got Jean Grey #1, which, I had to get the Marvel Girl cover.
Ooh, I got the Thigh variant. I got the Thigh
Marvel
variant, baby. I got the Thigh variant.
did Bean get? Did
you
Bean
want
get
to compare? I don't think so.
We've got Realm of X #1 on the docket, Penguin #1, and Night Terrors #4. The nightmare is nearing its end, and I am very happy
to wake up.
Yeah. We're also going to be talking about Marvel Unleashed a little bit later. And also, we're going to be talking about Ahsoka and our thoughts about at least the first episode of that show. So, jam-packed Pals Pulls tonight. Let's not waste any time. Hello to everybody that's watching. Hello to everybody that's listening. Thank you for joining us as we get into the Immortal Thor #1. Of course, the immortal name is being carried over from Immortal Hulk, which was also written by Al Ewing.
I heard that was pretty good.
Yeah, good little book,
Yeah.
But this time around, he is joined by not an anti-Semite. He is joined by Martin Coccolo.
You didn't tiptoe
So
around
far,
that one.
I mean,
Right. Who knows? No, I'm sure he's a great guy. And
why'd you say
Matthew
it like
Wilson.
that?
Huh? What?
Why'd you say it like that?
No, I'm sure he's a great guy. He's probably an amazing human. That's who else is
I never understand your tone, Sean.
Thor's not a human, but Thor is an amazing being. I love Thor. I'm a huge Thor fan. JMS's Thor run was where I got my start, and I fell in love with the character really from there. And I think regardless of what we all think about this issue, and I'm excited to hear your thoughts, I think it was pretty clear to me, at least, that Al Ewing loves Thor as well. And I really liked that. I liked seeing a Thor that is not necessarily the doomy, gloomy Thor, not necessarily the very thoughtful, pensive Thor, a Thor that smiles, a Thor that kind of has a good time and revels in what he gets to do. And that's coming from a joyful place. What did you guys get out of this?
I'm with you, Sean. I think we have a similar history with Thor, starting with the JMS. I guess Kale too. And that Thor was very much, that was high fantasy Thor. That's why that first
Kenneth
Thor movie
Branagh
exists.
Yeah.
But since then we've had tons of different types, Donny Cates's, we've had Jason Aaron's, we've had, but all of them have kind of been like Thor as the god and the leader,
Yeah.
It wasn't, I forget who wrote it, but I know Chris Samnee drew it. The Thor of Asgard or something like that.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a very, happier, swashbuckly Thor, and I really enjoyed that. It's just that we don't really get that in the main, books. And as I was reading the back matter of this, Al Ewing pretty much had 2 edicts for this run, and one of them was, I like a Thor that smiles. And as I had already read this, I was like, yeah, okay, this is Thor that gets to be a little happy. He gets to have a little fun, and it's not, Matt, it was Roger Langridge, but it's not a Taika Waititi goofy Thor. There's a difference between happy and goofy. This is just a happy Thor who still has all the gravitas that Thor needs, but he gets to have a little fun with it. And he doesn't have to be a jackass about it or a hard ass. He gets to be fun, and I really like
one thing that stood out to me in that back matter is that Al says that he first saw Thor in Secret Wars, and he said that Thor had a Viking smile. I went, okay. I wonder what that means.
Yeah. Marco, you haven't spoken up yet. How'd you feel about this one? Have you even read Thor before?
Just the stuff we did for the book club, the Jason Aaron God of Thunder, and
Right.
so it's that's a little more sci-fi.
Mm.
This had bigger elements of that, swords and sorcery stuff, or just the fantasy elements, which I thought it works. And not having that context, I feel like that just makes sense. But yeah, he comes off as charming here and adventurous and confident, which I think really lends to the pacing of the story, because he's the one that drives it. He's the one that continues to, like, yeah, we follow him around, sure, but it's the way that he carries himself from situation to situation that we're following, not necessarily Thor, but uh his outings. He's there. He comes back to Midgard, to Earth, and he's hanging out with, signing kid shields. He's at the bar with people. He's just having a good time, and that feels really, really good and engaging for a reader. And for me, who I feel like I'm not well versed on Thor, I got it immediately. I didn't have to do work. I didn't have to think back and go and compare, even, because I was afraid I was going to maybe do that, and I didn't have to. I think Al Ewing has a really good understanding of the character and what it takes to engross a reader, and then he put that together, and this was this book.
Yeah. It feels, and you know what I love is that it feels as though Al Ewing has really dug in to figure out what his Thor is like.
Mm.
And that is what I love to see in an issue one, because we've all read the generic issue one where it's like, yeah, okay, Thor's got a new enemy and a new mission, a new whatever. But this feels like, all right, there are layers to this version of Thor. And it's like he's trying to say something with this version of Thor. The same way I felt like he was trying to say something with the version of Immortal Hulk that we got.
And it feels like he's trying to say something about the character himself,
Yeah.
and it's a lot more
Yeah.
introspective, and it's not just all right, yeah, it's not like what we said where it's like, all right, big bad, fight big bad, Thor go burr, Krakoom. Like, it's actually going to be a little more of a deep dive into who this character is, like mentioning how there's different facets of Thor. There's, Odinson, there's the Avenger, but this is like the mighty Thor, Yeah, I'm kind of excited for it. And I think the Martin Kokolo art, oh my God, where the hell was this dude?
Cooking.
Real good stuff. Yeah, all of that. And I think the colors as well, just combined on top of these, the pencils and inks, man, excellent work. And a lot of variety that I feel like doesn't always happen. You usually maybe get like a single tone, a single kind of palette, but there was a lot of jumping around blues, greens, pinks, whatever it might be, just to capture mood, to really dark blues when it comes to towards the end bit, where this new villain is revealed. Really, really good use of just tone.
Tyler, do you happen to have the image of the Utgard Thor?
I do not.
Okay.
No,
Well,
I didn't want to do like a spoiler or something, so I was a little wary about that. But
yeah, that makes sense. When we finally see the Utgard Thor and just the immenseness of him, and the way that he kind of like takes over the full page, where it's just the double page where it's just his face. That was really intense. It was a complete tonal shift. The whole book is so bright and colorful and beautiful. We get the Bifrost back, so you've got that whole color palette, and then it goes complete black and red with his eye and like the storm behind him, and it helped to sell the idea that like this is a god, that like this is something bigger than a god. And now I'm actually worried for Thor. And I have never been worried for Thor before. Maybe not since Gore, the God Butcher. I have not been worried for Thor. That was like 10 years ago.
Sean, did the word Utgard bring you back?
Of course. Yeah. Please, man.
I was like, are we going to a keep? Is that what we're doing? Pinnacle, maybe?
Don't even start.
And then
start a little. What does that mean?
World of Warcraft. There's a place called Utgard Keep. Yeah. And by the way, if any of my people that have played God of War all of this stuff is so familiar to, like all these different locations and places. It's so fun to see it in the Marvel universe.
One thing to your point on just the immensity. I think anytime that the Utgard Thor was revealed, even the initial like lightning strike, all 2 pages. Anytime he's back in 2 pages, you follow up. The only time you get a single page of him is when Thor is looking up at him and like he's not captured totally, and that's happening. And then right after, again, another full 2 page, another full 2 page followed. I think the way that he gets rendered is really well done. And even when Thor is throwing out lightning, the blue lights on his face, it's shining on him. There's just a lot of dynamicism within the art.
The other thing I
Yeah,
did
the way
like
the-
too is Ewing's depiction of Loki. Loki, historically and mythologically speaking, has been both male and female.
Yeah.
And now that we, I guess, as a society, have a more accepted language for that, he's using that in this book. So Loki goes by they in this. Loki mentions that they're both god and goddess at the same time. And even the way it's drawn, Loki is androgynous in a way in this. Which I was like, okay, all right. Interesting take on Loki that I didn't really expect to get from a Marvel comic, to be honest.
Yeah, and it took a little bit to sort of figure out what that was. And I think I do have a small complaint about that because at first it felt a little sloppy, maybe in the art.
Was it the lips?
I think it was mostly the lips.
Yeah, I think it was the lips. Yeah.
And Manny's right. Loki's hot.
Yeah, bro.
So look, I'm all for it, right? But the only thing that bothered me is that it's one thing for Thor and Sif to use Loki's proper pronouns out of respect, and I can imagine that they would know them. But you had people that I just don't imagine have encountered Loki recently and were told about Loki's pronouns that were also accurately speaking about them, and that just felt like that doesn't make sense. Like I guess maybe Al wouldn't want the confusion, but it doesn't make sense to me.
You think Volstag's the kind of guy that you need to tell you his pronouns often? Like he's just like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I keep forgetting.
Like even at the end of the book, the two Gaia and the other dude, her brother, use Loki's proper pronouns. Loki's new pronouns.
Utgard or
Utgard, yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I took that as just assuming that's how Loki's always been in this context, and so I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. You know, they would have known out the gate because that's what it was.
I also really like the fact that this issue introduces several like problems for Thor and several ongoing ideas. We have the angle with Loki where we know that Loki has some type of plan, and rebuilding the Bifrost was not just this altruistic act. But we don't know how that's going to play out. And then on the other hand, we have the Utgard situation, and that seems like a very pressing, immediate threat, but not something that Thor's going to solve right away. So I love how we know who the major players are. We've even got some supporting castmates. Everything is set. I think this is going to be an epic adventure. I'm really excited.
Dude, once I saw the Warriors 4 were there, I was like, oh yeah, Al Ewing knows what he's doing. Like, in my opinion, like, a good Thor book needs a good supporting cast. And I love, like, Volstagg, Fandral. They're great characters.
Yeah.
And I think the size of the book, what is it? I don't even know how many pages I got it in.
Definitely oversized. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I think serviced it very
Wow.
well. Like that I think also helped make a difference because you didn't have to rush things. You could really build up the climax at the end. It felt really good. Felt paced out very well.
Agreed. Easy pull for me. No question about it. This is the start of something that we're going to be talking about a lot.
Yeah, this might be my pick of the week. I have one that's debatable later on. I think I know yours, Sean.
It better not be fucking Penguin, man. I'm telling you right now, we're gonna have words about Penguin.
Oh,
Whoa.
okay. I can tell you what it is, and maybe that'll get people to stay a little longer. But I think it's
Sorry
Marvel
for
Unleashed,
nice.
honestly.
Oh.
Marvel Unleashed was pretty good.
But it wasn't part of our 4, so I don't know if I can consider it that. But
It was pretty good. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to hear it was Penguin. But
Shit, I'll say it. This is book of the week.
Okay. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pass on this one.
Oh, whoa!
Passing on you, bro.
Explain that.
I would love to.
Yeah.
It's a first issue, and it's a first Thor issue. So obviously that means Al Ewing's got to have Thor fight the Frost Giants. We've got to be reintroduced to Asgard. We've got to watch Thor go down and sign the shields and kiss the babies and reintroduce himself to Earth, and 30 pages of that, and then we can get to the cool stuff.
But we got
I'm gonna
cool stuff
pass and
here.
hit. We got some cool stuff here.
Okay.
I've seen the other 30 pages.
All right, fine.
That's not to say that what he's doing in here wasn't good. Because, and I've I've tried to get this in several times in this.
Sorry about that, Kill.
No, that's okay. There is a flip side to that criticism, though. Al uses the Frost Giants to sort of downplay the Utgard name at first with the Frost Giants. You go, oh, okay, this is just Frost Giants name. But then you see Utgard Thor and Utgard Loki, and the Utgard say, oh no, they downplayed us. They stole that. That's no good. And then you know how massive the threat is. But while he's fighting those Frost Giants, Thor commands the storm. And the storm says, oh, hey, my bad. But then when he's standing on the Statue of Liberty and he says, he tells the storm to stop. And that caption that says, but this isn't Thor's lightning. I went, oh,
Yeah.
That was good. That was very cool.
I'm glad you brought that up. That was a really great moment.
I think he said, like, I control the storm, I don't control the superstorm.
Yeah.
Like, are you using Midgard weather forecast terms, Thor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can't control a bomb cyclone either, I bet.
Yeah, Manny. It's not something that bothers me. I actually think it's appropriate for Loki. It was just an observation. I think it makes sense. We've got a lot more books to tackle and a lot more stuff to talk about. You heard the list up top, so we're gonna keep things rolling. However, do want to let you guys know about patreon.com/thecomicspals, which is the best way to support your boys. If you enjoy what we do here, we are always giving you more bang for your buck. There's a lot of exclusive content over there. You get to vote in the book club poll. You get a nickname and a shout out on our main show, which is live every single Saturday at 10:15 a.m. Eastern. And you also get our newsletters. You get access to our newsletters. Kale wrote a good one this week about Kale's job search, and I really liked it. And Kale also answered a question from our Discord server, which you should be on, and I thought it was a thoughtful answer.
Thank you very much.
Yes, you're very welcome. Yeah, absolutely. Check out our Heather Antos interview. It was a good one. If you haven't heard that yet, give it a listen. We had a lot of fun with it. If you want to vote in the listener pick poll, all you have to do, it has moved. It is no longer on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. All you have to do is go to our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/thecomicspals. Click the community tab, and you will see the thread. It goes up every single Friday, and you can vote for the book that you want to see us review. This week, Penguin won. You guys will get to influence what wins next week.
Pretty decisively, too, it looked like.
Yeah, Spider-Man got trounced. I was kind of surprised.
Did you vote, 5 times like you should have to keep Spider-Man up there? You got to get that Zeb
nope.
Wells biggest fan vote.
Nope, I voted once. Got my one vote in there. Everything else at the Comics Pals, you guys know the drill. Let's keep things pushing and let's talk about Jean Grey #1.
Boy.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to ask. I'm not going to say. I'm going to ask. Will you guys allow me to get on my soapbox for this?
For a Jean Grey book?
Yeah.
Come on.
You have opinions on a
don't-
Jean Grey book?
Don't you have enough?
Well, okay,
so was this gift not enough?
Okay.
Please.
So Luis Simonson wrote it, Bernard Chang on art, Marcelo Maiolo on colors, and Ariana Mayer on letters. Ariana Mayer, by the way, just all over the place. She does a lot of great work. Go ahead, Tyler.
I was going to say we need to put letterers on the cover. Just saying. I
agree. I think we're at that point. Absolutely. Before I get on my soapbox, I genuinely want to hear what you guys thought about this. Quick about the book. Basically, this is right after Jean gets stabbed, but she got stabbed by not a traditional blade. I believe it was an otherworld blade. And so it's having effects on her that are crazy. And she's trying to figure out where things went wrong. And she's sort of looking through her past and seeing what she could have done differently to get things right for the mutants.
I think I read it as when your life flashes before your eyes after right before you die.
Sure.
And you're trying to come across that. It's just I don't know why this book exists. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know the reason for it. I can't really see where it's going, where it's gonna matter. But that being said, I kind of liked it as like a weird what if story. This almost feels like it's going to be a series of Jean Grey what if one shots. Is the way I see this. And you know what?
Yeah.
I don't hate that. This one dealt with, post Bendis young X-Men, and if they never got mind wiped when they came back to the past. And I like that as a prompt. But I also don't see the point. So it's kind of like a weird thing. It's like I like what I got, but why am I getting this? I thought the Bernard Chang art was very good though. So
similarly, I kind of felt like, what is this book? She died. Why am I reading something after she has died? If that has consequence, or if that event, that moment had consequence, this book should not necessarily exist in my mind. And whatever, got through that, read it, and it relates to stuff that I don't even feel impacts that larger narrative. And I was a bit frustrated by that because I kind of would have wanted it to address something that would have happened, or a similar to which we'll talk about at Realm of X, where okay, cool, like we're trying to figure stuff out. There's a next step here. Maybe she had gotten stabbed and sent to some astral plane. Like I feel like that is a more satisfying answer than this, which results in, this happened in the past, a different moment in X-Men history, and they're reliving it, but slightly altered. It felt like a what if, and that was a little frustrating.
As the resident Jean Grey hater and critic, I have a lot to say about this book, and I'm not gonna mince my words. So buckle up. I thought it was pretty good.
I knew there was a bit.
Yeah. Go ahead. Why was it good?
No, that's it.
No, he's not mincing words. The words were not minced. That is the full words.
All right. So I actually was dreading reading this. And I said, when we talked about the announcement of this, I said that I did not want this. And I was frustrated that it was most likely going to be one of those books that is targeted at Jean Grey fans who don't like Krakoa. And it's probably that. It's probably that. But man, I really loved this. I really did. I really, really, really did. Because Jean Grey is such a complicated character. And one of the things that I love about her that I feel like she doesn't get credit for, because a lot of people say that Jean Grey is an NPC, that she doesn't make decisions, she's not in control ever, and she just exists to die. And I don't think that that's true. I've never felt that that was true. But I think she makes decisions, and I think she has opinions about things that people don't necessarily recognize. Jean Grey is a very fierce person, and she does think she knows better. This did not feel out of character for me at all. I really believe that there are a lot of aspects of that in Jean, just like Cyclops, just like Professor X, their teacher.
Mm.
And this book takes that idea to the maximum extreme, where if Jean Grey gives in to her inner desire or her belief that she knows everything, the end result is the Phoenix destroying the world. And it's collaboration and it's being a part of the X-Men that helps her heal from her childhood and helps her heal from not feeling in control when her friend died and not being able to stop the things that were going on in her life at that time. Being able to work with the X-Men is a part of what saves her. And not doing that destroys her. I thought that this was a very interesting, deep examination of a character that desperately needs this. And between this and Realm of X this week, dealing with several more characters who have had just basically no attention in the Krakoan era, I was very pleased. But this was a meaningful issue to me.
Do you feel that it is in character for Jean to do the things that she did in this? Like with the mind wiping, and she became worse than Magneto, honestly.
So I think my answer to that is, keep in mind that this is a Jean Grey that's directly influenced by having already seen the future, right? So I think in her mind, because she already thinks she knows everything, and then on top of that, she sees that things go pretty badly. Because remember, back then in 1960, whenever the X-Men came about, whatever that was, she had no idea how bad it would get. But she ends up seeing that. So she's affected by that. So do I think she would go to these extremes? No. But in this exact circumstance where she sees the future and is a 17-year-old girl, yeah, I do. It didn't feel like a crazy extrapolation from what I accept about in continuity Jean Grey.
Okay. I mean,
I also think that in that situation, when you're looking over your life trying to figure out what you could have done differently, you will entertain different versions of yourself. So I don't think the examination is out of character.
Yeah. And it was hard to watch those things happen for me. Like, it was hard to watch her turn and do these horrible things. But it also made sense. It also was like, yeah, I see why she would think this. I see why she would think this was right. But as it tends to go for Jean, everything went wrong.
I mean, this is also the same Jean that outed Bobby. So,
Jesus Christ. I really like the art, except for whenever Charles Xavier was on the page.
Yeah,
because his face was weird.
Okay, I'm glad it wasn't just me. All right.
Yeah. Even Cyclops' face was actually weird a lot. Like, this is just a random page that I opened, but like, look at his lips.
Yeah.
It's just really odd. But
lips discussion on the show today.
I think this was my pick of the week.
Fuck off.
What do you mean?
What did you expect?
What?
I guess this is like one of those moments where you know what? Here's what it is, Sean. I'm looking at a mirror and I'm realizing that this is the way that I sound when a Swamp Thing book comes out. And I'm just frustrated to see it is what
Yeah,
is
brother.
my
And guess
Yeah,
what?
brother.
And guess what, bitch? How many of them Swamp Things did we sit through? We sat through the whole Rom V, which was amazing. I'm not saying it was bad,
Oh.
but we did every one of those, and you went on your soapbox,
Mhm.
and we did the Swamp Thing by Alan Moore,
Mhm.
volume 1 and 2. So I don't want to hear anything from you because we have endured your Swamp Thing bullshit for 6 years. Okay.
enjoyed my swamp ass. Yes, that's right.
I didn't say
And
enjoy.
also, like, Jean Grey never gets a book. Like, let him have it.
let alone a decent book. I'm not
There
going
are-
to sit here and say
there
it's
are
good,
more-
but it was a decent book.
There are more Swamp Thing books than there are Jean Grey books. This is the first Jean Grey book.
It's on the wall for a reason.
You
Check
know
it out,
what?
Psycho Pirate.
It was thoughtful. And I think that's
Yeah.
what I like the most about it, is
Yeah.
that whether you like what ended up happening or not,
Hmm.
Louise Simonson genuinely was thinking about the character and she was referencing decades worth of history to tell this story.
What do you think that is being alluded to at the end there? Like, it's alluding to, like, the next thought that she has with a crashed plane. Is this, like, if Cyclops wasn't around?
Oh, that was like Fantastic Four stuff.
Yeah, that's the only thing I could come up with.
Because I know Scott's origin involves a plane crash, and the next issue is her with Scott. So it's just like, oh, if Scott, maybe my love for Scott is what stopped me from getting my true potential. That's what I'm kind of hoping the next issue is, honestly.
Oh, I was thinking it was
That's
a
an
rocket.
interesting thought.
Yeah, I thought it
I
was
thought it was a
as well.
rocket as well. Yeah.
That makes sense, Tyler, though.
I love my boy Scott, so anytime he gets some kind of spotlight, I'm into it.
Yeah, amen.
Beautiful book.
It's an okay book.
It's all right book. It works.
Sorry, they just delayed Dune 2. I got an alert. I'm bummed.
We're talking about Jean Grey right now, okay?
It's all right.
Who
We're talking about,
cares?
I would say
introspective
the
things.
the art throughout was really, really well done. I think the tone is just like dark. It fits the moments. It fits the mood. I think that paired well with their narrative, even if I wasn't enthralled by the narrative. I think it worked.
I also think it felt, this is a weird thing, but it felt right for the time they're supposed to be in. It kind of like, I don't know. I think it worked well for, the time that they're living in.
I mean,
it reflected it.
and Louis Simonson, like, she knows how to write young X-Men. Like, that's her strong suit there.
Yeah.
And I think the Bernard Chang bits where it was like Kitty Pryde being introduced and almost had like a select your character fighter screen moment.
Yeah, yeah.
It gave me like real Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Shredder's Revenge vibes. There was that for like Cannonball as well. I was like, all right, I'm kind of digging that. I like that.
That's pretty damn cool. Yeah.
I was kind of wondering what the deal with that was.
It was just fun.
It may just be a style choice, which is fine. It's just like it only happens in those places. So I was wondering if, I don't know, maybe that'll add up to something, eventually, or I don't know.
Pull or pass? Where are we at?
It's a
gentlemen?
pull.
It's a Jean Grey book. A pass. I see that on the stands. I'm walking right past it. You kidding me?
I'm similar to how I felt about Spider-Man. It's a workable comic. Whether or not I enjoy it, that's a separate issue. For me, pass. For somebody, pull. For Sean, pull.
And pull and pull and pull.
Okay, no.
Oh.
No, that is
Oh.
not. Jean Grey is not. I don't love Jean Grey in that way. I love.
Doesn't
You
have
don't need to
doesn't have
love.
the mini
You
gloves.
don't need to love
It
to do
doesn't
that.
have the mini gloves. That's what it is.
It's no. There's no. There's
Yeah.
no like amorous interest.
Yeah,
Jean
we're
Grey is
about to
just
talk
a
about
great
Saturn
character.
in the next book, so we'll get to that.
Now that.
Okay. All right.
Now we get to Realm of X. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you. Because yes, absolutely. So Realm of X is first of all written by um rising star, I would say, Torun Gronbeck,
Mm-hmm.
who's been doing great work. With art by Diegonis Neves, Rain Barreto on colors, Clayton Cowles on the letters. And so this is just like immediately after the Hellfire Gala, these 5 primary mutants. We have Magic, we have Mirage, we have
Dust.
help
I
me
was
out,
happy to see Dust.
Yo, that
Dust,
was
Yeah.
cool. Who's Dust, bro? That was
Arrow,
rad.
Oh, dude,
Arrow,
Dust is underrated.
Typhoid Mary, and Curse. They get transported. And now they're in, I think, Vanaheim.
Yes.
Yeah, which I love. I love seeing, places like this explored just because of my love of God of War. And they've got to figure out what the hell is happening to them, why they're on Vanaheim in the midst of this war. I thought this was pretty good.
Yeah. This was would have been pick of the week had it not been for Thor. I think getting dropped into just a moment, this like hecticness, especially coming out of the gala, keeps sort of that momentum, and then you get a time to breathe, and then you get your sort of end. A lot of fun. The the first thing, and this is nitpicky as fuck, but the
Bring
the the text boxes being so dark on that second page kind of got lost in the dark colors of the background and the text being this like dark gold or something. I think there could have been a better way to represent some of those individual boxes to introduce the characters, because it
Oh,
nitpicky again, super nitpicky, but like
I mean,
otherwise, real fun book. I had a good time on this.
I agree, actually, Marco, 100%. I don't know what the hell happened with that.
Yeah, like what's up,
Yeah.
dude?
Yeah.
it
that
looks
was
like it
weird.
needs to be brighter. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That needs to be brighter. The text boxes, I don't know why you put them in black. Like, just make it white like everything else. It was easy, but
Tyler, where you at on this one?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. There was a continuity error that I saw on Twitter that annoyed me. But it was I guess when they're in the Vanaheim place and they're eating dinner and all that, you can see the Quiet Council there, even though Hope is with Exodus on a beach somewhere.
oh really?
Um,
Oh, wow.
so that was a little weird. I didn't pull the page, but yeah. But I thought the art was very good. That first page with magic on in a swamp with the butterflies, I have it pulled for the stream.
So good.
It felt very Unique Paquette Swamp Thing.
Yeah,
Even the
Yeah,
layout of the page.
There are times when the art almost looks Joe Quesada-y, but her especially, I think it's the next page from this one on screen. But in this first image of Magic, I think she looks like she's like she could be blind.
Okay.
yeah.
Like it just I don't know, like it looks like she's sort of looking at nothing.
She's looking at the
You
butterflies.
know what I mean?
The butterflies are closer to us.
Okay.
I like it. It's really just the positioning is really, I don't know, evocative. It's good. It yeah, the art across the board was super solid. Tight. There'd be tight moments with horses riding. You have your big battles, and then your quieter moments where people are just reacting. Who was this again?
On the art?
Yeah.
Oh, this is Diegonis Nieves, I believe.
Trying to find that page. Yeah, solid work. I don't know that I've seen their work before, but really good.
Yeah, I completely agree. I really love the way that Dust in particular was depicted. She's always been, to me, one of the underrated mutants. She comes from that new X-Men or the new X-Men era, the Craig Kyle and Christopher Yost era.
Yeah,
which,
dude. Underrated book, man.
oh my god,
Yeah.
dude. That is my prime era. and you guys know I love Surge so much. She's one of my
Mhm,
favorite mutants.
Mm.
And Dust is another one because of that era, and seeing her actually get some respect on her name and her powers was pretty cool.
She's
This
got to be
is
Omega
rad.
level, right? Like, I feel like that's one of the ones you could say she's Omega level and be like, yeah, it makes sense.
I don't think they'll give her that because she's not popular enough, but I
Sure.
think if she was prioritized, then yeah.
Yeah. Also, as a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 nerd, Marrow, I was like, hell yeah.
Always happy to see Marrow. Yeah, for sure. I think Torrin Gronbeck really has a great voice for these kinds of stories that take place in the 9 realms or the 10 realms or whatever it is. She did there was the Mighty Thor book. It was a Valkyrie
correct.
focused book. Yeah.
Yep.
And that was really good. I really enjoyed that. And then she's doing this now. She's got Venom. I believe she's working with Al Ewing on or whatever, replacing
Ooh.
Rom V. So she's all over the map and doing tremendous work. I feel like this was another example of her skill set.
Yeah.
She does a great job for these, as I said earlier, underserved characters. These women we've really not seen that much from in the Krakoan era. So I like spending some time with them. Curse was great. Curse was really interesting. And then of course we know Saturnine at the end. I'm desperate to see more Saturnine.
Desperate.
I knew when they were like
Yes.
White Witch, I'm like, oh no, Saturnine's in this, isn't she?
I was trying to figure that out. I'm like, hold on, it's like, who could that be? Who could that be? Who could that be? And then it got to the end, I'm like, Sean's
That's
gonna
Dr. Umar's
One of
least favorite
one.
character.
Yeah, agreed. The Gronbeck's been doing awesome stuff. Like, anytime we pick up a book of hers, I feel like we walk away just being, you know what, solid and or very good. Like, there
Yeah.
hasn't been, I think, poor performance on that end. And when I saw Dust, Manny, back me up here, but reminds me of Crocodile from One Piece, fucking sand and shit.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
the- You know what I mean? What's
Yep.
it called? The Suna fruit, bro.
Well, now you're over my head.
Is that a One Piece reference?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoa, you went somewhere that I could never follow. But this is a pull for me. I like the team dynamic. I was a bit confused at first by Typhoid Mary's inclusion, but I think she sort of proved herself in terms of like why she's here. She's here to be a foil, essentially, and I appreciate that. And I grew to like the character sort of and what she brings to the table by the end of the issue. I trust Torrin Gronbeck to deliver something fun with this, and I'm interested. I think there's enough here to keep me coming for the next couple issues at the very least.
I'm gonna come back. Even if we don't do it on the show, I think this was enough of a pull. I had fun.
Kale, Ty?
This just didn't do anything for me. Not for not for any particular reason. I think it's well done. I just don't. Magic's the only character I really care about here. I like Torrin Gronbeck, but this whole event is just a mess for me, and this didn't add or take away anything. So I'm just no thanks.
All right, fair enough.
I like this. I like Nine Realm stuff. I'm a sucker for it. Magic and Danny Moonstar are some of my favorite characters. I love like those New Mutants characters. Like New Mutants holds a special place in my heart. So like anytime I get to see them, and it's just got a lot of characters I like, and I like how it's a woman team book as well.
I like how it is that, but it doesn't.
It's not
It
A-Force.
just is. Yeah, it just is that. It's not about that.
Yeah, it's how the dice were rolled. It's like, oh well, these are the guys that showed up there.
Yeah.
And Magic, who's typically like the most surefire like person there, is now a little depowered a bit, probably because she's not on Earth anymore. So there's probably a magic issue going on. But I like that as well. So there's stuff here, and I think the art was great. So
Solid.
Well, let's talk about another number one. I feel like there were a lot of them this week. Let's get into Penguin on the DC side of things.
Kingwin. I can't take credit for that. That was Tommy Hound.
I like that. That's good. Tom King, after I guess enjoying writing the Penguin character in Batman Killing Time, decided to return to the Kingpin for this. Joined by Rafael de la Torre, and I can't find where the credits are in this book, so thank you, DC Comics.
It's right at the end. Hold on, I got you. Last page.
Don't you love when they swerve you where the credit page is?
Marcelo Maioli on colors and Clayton Cowles on letters. My boy Clayton
Appreciate
Cowles.
you. I have a bone to pick with this comic book.
Fishbone?
Fishbone.
Wishbone?
Wishbone?
Because it's a penguin. Eat fish.
Tear it in half. I thought that everything about this felt off to me. Everything. Every character, every depiction, everything felt off. From a writing standpoint. First of all, I don't believe that was Batman's inner monologue at the beginning or end. Batman doesn't refer to himself as an idiot. And then the ridiculous panel or the ridiculous box which says which means the system and the backups to the system and the backups, all those backups have all gone down. Unbelievable. Unreal. No.
Egregious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Batman,
not.
Even in his internal monologue, Batman chooses his words wisely.
Yeah. So that troubled me. But what troubled me maybe more was what felt like, and I mean this with every ounce of respect that I can generate, which is a lot, because I think Tom King is an amazing writer. But what felt like borderline masturbatory fan fiction in reference to how scary the Penguin is. Okay. I just don't buy it.
Thank you.
There's no way.
That is 1000% where I'm at with this book.
I dug that about this, honestly.
Well, I dug it, but I see where you guys are coming from. It feels not like the character, like his stature necessarily. It is not where that would be. That's not his cachet. But I agree with Tyler. I like the way that it plays out in this book.
Like if you're ground level and we're talking about like crime boss, like Penguin's top tier. But the problem is then you put this in a DC perspective. It's like when Superman exists, he means nothing. So like Amanda Waller being a little afraid of him, that's where I was like, I don't know about that.
Not even the cop. It said that the cop pissed his pants.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I think so. I think you take any GCPD guy and you put him up to the Penguin.
Yeah.
The Penguin who can.
This guy wasn't a GCPD guy.
Even worse, he was
better case than Metropolis. They're weak as fuck, bro.
What? Who would even know who he is in Metropolis?
Oh, I think the Penguin has a reputation. The Penguin is, like, in my head, he's as close to the Kingpin as we have in DC.
But worthless.
But the Penguin is not a physical threat. Kingpin is a physical threat. Kingpin, and by the way, this is Penguin not in his murder era.
Sure.
So
quote unquote.
Yeah.
Right. So the idea that Atomic Hound did ask for light spoilers, so I guess let's tread lightly on this one. But the idea that this person would be, urinating themselves, it just feels too far. You want to say he's afraid? Say he's afraid. Okay, fine. But he urinated himself. It's so ridiculous.
But I feel like I've read stories where Penguin is this like guy who can rip your throat out. Like he looks like he's not intimidating.
Well, that's the whole point of Danny DeVito, right? Like,
yeah.
He's got those sharp teeth. He's got the ooze that comes out of his mouth or whatever. Like, yeah, sure, that's intimidating. That's threatening. But the Penguin in the books has never been that.
I could have sworn he was in some books, but it's not. It's more often not than anything. Yeah.
I'll concede that.
And even still, this is a little egg-shaped man.
Well, he's lost weight now. Just don't tell him.
Like, it's not. Uh,
You don't like the Colin Farrellification of Penguin in this?
it just doesn't like. Yeah, Dan puts it up perfectly. They cranked up the volume a notch too far. Like,
Yeah.
Tom is he's trying to do what he did with the Riddler. Except, like, even with the Riddler, like, while that story was cool, I think we all sort of even agreed, like, it's the Riddler.
Sure. So I had a slightly different issue with this, where I think your points are salient, and I think this book didn't need to have been Penguin. You could have swapped this narrative, this Tom King narrative, with another character, honestly, potentially even like a new character, and I thought it would still carry the same way. The fact that this is Penguin didn't feel like it held weight for me, or didn't feel like it necessarily added to the drama. I think it was cool the way he's depicted, and we just chatted about that, a little difference in opinion on that there. But I think you could have replaced Penguin with a new character, someone else, somebody just specific to this book, or honestly, this could have been like I don't know, something related to a creator-owned piece within DC, and I think it still would have worked. And so the fact that it didn't feel catered to the character, and that's part of what's one of my critiques of this book.
I also really didn't, man, I didn't need to see the bird, what happens to the bird. I thought that was really egregious and doesn't even make sense. And it's just Tom King just doing big things just to do something crazy. And I wish he would lean more into his like ability to tell great stories and restraint. I don't think you always have to go for the enormous over the top moment. I don't know that that's his strength.
And even, I mean, you can see that even to the the characters who, like, look, I've been known to drop an F-bomb.
Dude.
Like, what is he, just like practicing shorthand with these characters? Like,
it's too much.
Did you guys read Killing Time at all?
Yeah, I read the first 4, I think. I didn't finish it.
Okay.
And so, like, this is loosely related. We do have the woman who she's some kind of a detective or something or other, and she's from that. But Tom does like to do the like constant, oh, this is a curse, but we're gonna censor it. Yeah, dialogue. And I remember that being really prevalent in the Batman Brave and the Bold issue that we saw, that we reviewed here on the show. And it's here now, and it's just like, you don't need it. I don't think it works. I don't think it doesn't come across well. You do it occasionally, get your pop and move on. But when it's happening over and over and over again, it's too much. Too much for me.
Because I have to like read it, right? And then I have to like, okay, what is the word? Plug it in, all that kind of stuff. It's lazy.
It doesn't even work because it's all the same word.
Right. Yeah.
Supposedly.
It's the same characters too, which is like, there's no variation to it either.
It's not that I didn't hate this. It's just that it's like every scene would have good things in it, and then it would have maybe something that would upset me more than what I was enjoying. Like, for example, I like the idea of the Penguin really being reformed. I thought that was interesting. And I was like, okay, so he's going to get somehow dragged into something that he doesn't want to be a part of, but he's got to do it because he's got to do it. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's great. But then you have the scene with the dude who's just cursing in his face. And it's like, well, I don't want that. Then you have the woman who's cursing in his face. I don't want that.
In
then
Metropolis?
Then you have Batman sounding not like Batman. I don't want that. And then the kicker was, for me personally, I was really disappointed by Penguin's actions at the end of the book.
Yeah. Same.
I just didn't buy it. I don't know. This was a hard sell for me. I can't.
Yeah, I think I feel very similar. I like really enjoyed the overall narrative, but the walk to get to the end of it was just like I'm gonna, barefoot through, on a hot gravel road. It's just like it's not fun.
Yeah. I'm gonna go out on, well, before I say that, the art I thought was actually pretty good. I did enjoy the art. The Del Toro art is always good. It's always welcome. I enjoy 9-panel grids. I know it's kind of popular to not like them now. I think Tom manages to work with artists who can nail it, and I thought it was nailed. The sequence where Penguin is being interrogated and the woman is just kind of pulling her cigarette out, lighting it. I love that. I'm right locked in with those moments, and I think Del Toro did a great job.
I think he knows when to use them, because there are other talky moments, like with him and Rita in bed, where it kind of breaks down between a larger panel, then you get 2 panels, then you get the 3. But to move conversation along, I think that's where the 9-panel grid really shines, is to be able to, okay, you have a moment, you have a moment, you have a moment, you can continue to follow a conversation pretty seamlessly. It looks wordy, but it turns out to be just a nice way to continue the pace.
He draws a good bird too.
Sorry?
He draws a good bird. There's a couple of good birds in this, like actually well done birds, different varying types. Sorry, I like birds.
I was so sad
I would go birding
that,
if I like the outdoors. But
like, he has this really seemingly genuine relationship with this Rita girl, and I was that hit me, because I'm like, damn, like, he, to your point, he has changed, and this is Tom King sort of proving that out. He's in a relationship. It's stable. It's understanding. It's caring, and frankly, give me a reformed Penguin. Like, you know what? Talking through this, guys, with you guys, I feel like I just want a reformed Penguin story now.
You want a slice of life Penguin manga?
Oh, dude, please. Actually, yes.
But this is the kind of thing, like, yeah, wow, Harvey Dent is now normal again. Like, this is the kind of thing that would play out over maybe years in a Batman book, where you have a Penguin who's genuinely reformed. He gets tested similarly to this book. He passes the test. Maybe he's even an ally. Maybe he helps out. We're eliminating all of that and saying, nope, he's back to a crime boss. The stuff that brought him here just happened. This is Chip Zdarsky era stuff, right? Like, can we wait a little bit?
Let's breathe.
And I think
just
what
happened
also makes it worse is the book doesn't even take itself very seriously. And you can tell by the characters who all they do is swear the same word over and over and over again.
Right.
Like, I agree with you, Marco. I really liked Penguin's new partner or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was actually really bummed when the plot point came up that they're gonna kidnap her and make him, turn to crime again. Oh, that sucks. But like, that's an established trope, and okay, that's fine. That's the story you want to tell. But what makes it worse is that the person doing it is ridiculous.
You mean the cop?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I have less respect for that person as a villain than I do the Penguin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
To be honest, this is a pass, and I feel like a lot of Tom's in continuity DC stuff has been hit or miss, and for me, this was another miss. It's not all bad, but the good does not outweigh the bad here, in my opinion. And the art's not enough, good as it is, to overcome what I just thought was not a believable story, frankly.
Yeah, agreed. And Hound, I don't think we spoiled any of that for you, so you should still
Fingers
be good
crossed.
for the.
Yeah.
and, it's also issue 1. Like there isn't
There-
a ton of issue
there's not much to
spoilers here, so
Yeah, there's not much to spoil.
Yeah.
Truthfully.
Yeah.
I think as this conversation progressed, I was on pull, but as we sort of talked and like worked it out, I think I'm leaning towards pass.
Yeah.
I guess I'm the lone pole here. I enjoyed it.
What's new?
Yeah. A lone
Hey.
pole? Yeah, nothing new for me.
Pete, what did you like about it?
I thought the art was very good. I like birds. And I just like
Is that separate from the issue or?
it's in general. It's birds. I like birds, even though they're not real.
Birds aren't real. What are you saying? Are you saying, Tyler, that the birds are mechanical spies sent out by the government to watch
Yeah,
us?
of course you would know this,
easy.
Sean.
No. Hey, relax. No. Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that.
I'm just saying woodpeckers can't melt steel beams. But yeah, no, I thought this was I like the idea of a reluctantly brought back into, like, it's like a John Wick penguin we're about to get. So I'm interested to see where that story goes. It hooked me enough where I was like, all right, I'll give it an issue 2.
If the last moment of the book hadn't happened, I might agree.
Ooh.
I think it was completely undercut by that moment. I don't see why he would have made that decision. I don't know. That was just hard to swallow.
I think until you guys brought that point up, I was on pull, and then you're totally right. It just ruins where the character was, and it resets, and it's like, all right, then why show me all of this progress?
Yeah, to undo it all in one issue.
Right, in one page.
Yeah.
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 Damn. Yeah.
Well, let's see if Night Terrors can undo our negative feelings about it.
Spoilers.
Because on tap next, we've got Night Terrors number 4. This is not the end of the event, by the way. This is just the end of the Night Terror proper series. If
The
you will.
nightmare doesn't end.
Wait, this
Go ahead.
This is not the final issue of the event?
No. There's an issue called Night's End, I believe it's called.
Oh, they're doing one of
coming
those
up
Omega Alpha
next week.
things. Okay.
So this is written by Joshua Williamson with art by Giuseppe Camuncoli, Stefano Nessi, and Casper Wingard, with colors by Frank Martin, who I love, and Casper Wingard with letters by Troy Pateri. I am going to say something flatly positive about this book. This was my favorite issue of Night Terrors so far.
Same. You know what? Same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because something happened, you know?
Yep. I don't care about this villain. I don't care that he's been sleeping. I thought his reasoning for wanting to kill the Justice League was completely ridiculous. The fact that he's shown wearing a Justice League t-shirt.
Yeah.
Bro was a Justice
Like,
League simp
dude,
at one point.
It's not
Super
to
fan.
say that like you can't wear graphic tees like that. I literally have a Captain America t-shirt on right now. But the day that my man's family died, he was wearing a Justice League t-shirt.
I do
That was
like
so goofy.
I do
Come
like how
on,
goofy the way his family died was. It was
Well,
like
it's
Dark
so
Knight.
stupid.
Yeah, Dark Knight's metal was happening at the time, which he comes home and his family's like, "Hey, we should probably leave," and then he's just like, "Nah, it's just a whole bunch of weird Batman."
No. It wasn't even that. His family didn't say it. He says it. Oh, there's some kind of Justice League thing happened down the road. They said we should evacuate, but it'll be fine. So it was completely his thing the whole time.
I just picture
funny, man.
like it cuts to "It's Always Sunny" title screen. The family gets killed.
That Casper Wingard art, that shit was good.
Sure.
On the Dead Man pages. Yeah.
Oh, did he not do the Family Dies pages?
I think he did that as well. Yeah.
Oh, he
Okay.
did. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah,
thought
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right.
that came out really, really well. The watercolor, just like this variety of stuff. Yeah, that was neat. Whether or not it it mattered or affected my reading of it, man, that was hard to swallow.
I genuinely put it down and went, well, "That's stupid."
Dude, the moment that it went to a past, the moment it did a flashback, I'm like, oh, something's gonna happen. He's gonna blame it on whoever, some hero. And he's like, oh, the Justice League. It's on his T-shirt. It's right there. Laid it out. There was too much of this is what's gonna happen. This is what's gonna happen. This is what's gonna happen, and you see the progression into that, and you're just like, all right, I don't even need to read it. I can flip through the page and I can understand the progression of the story, the consequences therein, and then how it's gonna resolve.
You know what? If the words weren't there, I would actually think more of the story.
It was rendered well.
I think the part that I really liked was more so the opening few pages where Damien starts to fall asleep. And as soon as he starts to fall asleep, he's just infected by this insomnia guy. But because of his training and because of how well he knows his father, he knows that the person speaking with him is not his father. And that's how he's able to kind of get out of that situation. And I really like that. I think every Damien moment so far has been really good, and that speaks to Joshua Williamson's understanding of the character, considering that he maybe has written him the most since Morrison.
I kind of got reminded of the Chainsaw Man scene where they're going through the stairwell, and I'm like,
Oh yeah, at the hotel. Yeah.
yeah, at the hotel, and I'm like, damn. And then he gets taken over. I'm like, oh wait, hold on a second. No, this is actually insomnia. And then when he wakes up, I'm like, okay, that was a cool moment. Maybe the way that Batman is like, oh, you don't have to keep going up. We can go home now. Father and son finally together again. I'm like, yo, easy, chill out. That's too much of a relationship for even my dad. Like, slow down. Those moments were, I don't know, a bit lazy, I thought.
I also sort of felt like I guess I don't totally know what the sleep situation is here because it's like he's narcoleptic. He just falls asleep.
It's because he hasn't slept in like many days.
Right.
He's trained himself to not sleep, and so he's struggling to stay awake.
It's like susceptible to
job.
it.
Tyler, where you at with this?
I just wanted to end.
Oh my god, you sound so worn down.
He woke up and he's like, "There's another issue after this."
I was surprised that this was the flannel issue of the numbered issues more than there is another issue.
Mm-hmm.
Like the only thing I popped for was Chainsaw Man Batman to show up. Like he showed up in this, which I thought was neat. That's about it. That's like the only good thing to come out of this was like maybe I'll have a cool McFarlane figure in 2 years.
Nuts.
I did think the twist at the end, like I didn't expect.
Was it a twist?
I'm like, cool, they're gonna defeat him because I thought this was the last issue, and so I'm like, oh, okay, cool. They get the thing, they beat him. That was a poor, whatever villain. But then him bringing it out into the real world, I'm like, oh, all right, you know what? I'll grant you, I didn't see that coming, and now that they've spilled out sort of Monsters Unleashed style Scooby-Doo stuff, I can enjoy that because then now the villains or the enemies that have haunted these heroes have a bit more power and a bit more consequence, and it leveled up the villain a little bit more, which I thought was actually not bad execution.
Agreed. Actually, I thought that was really cool. I didn't see it coming, and I like that swerve.
Yeah,
and I really think that there is a legitimately good book, a good overall event in the midst of this. First of all, the month is wrong. Why is it not happening in October? But I also think if you get rid of like most of the tie-ins and you actually bake in some of those tie-ins to the main book, Like, what was the most substantial thing I've seen in this whole Night Terrors was the Batman issues, which were also written by Williamson. Those probably should have been in the main story. What's Wonder Woman going through? What's Superman going through? What are their nightmares? Throw that in the mix. Let this be okay. Maybe the people that are awake are Deadman, Damian, Wesley Dobbs, whoever else. But like the other people shouldn't be absent from the main title. They should be there dealing with. We're not even seeing the effects of the Night Terrors. If you only buy the main title, you literally have no idea what the other characters are going through. That's insane.
And then that whole, the whole splash page at the end, the cliffhanger, means nothing to you.
Yeah, because you're not going to even read it.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of insane. I can't think of another event where like you really had to read tie-ins, or it just doesn't make a lick of sense. Like you literally have no idea what's going on with Superman right now if you're not reading the tie-ins.
Mm-hmm. Any character of value to DC.
Yeah. It's really a bewildering decision. And I agree the tie-ins have been good. I think that the tie-ins have been good. It's just crazy to me that they left all the interesting stuff outside of the main book. It's a weird tactic. Unfortunately, even though this was my favorite issue of Night Terrors, it's not enough. I pass. I would ward anyone off of reading this event, unfortunately. Stick to the tie-ins if you're really, really compelled.
And frankly, don't waste your time.
When the main event isn't good, it turns me off in the tie-ins.
In general?
Usually, yeah, because it's like if I don't like what's going on, why spend money on extra stuff? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree. I'd be buying way more tie-ins if I was enjoying the main series, 100%. You guys are passing too?
Yep.
Oh, hard.
Yeah. Damn. And and it's a shame. I don't want to. Like, to your point, this has potential. It's just not being executed the way that I think it needs to be successful.
Yeah, 100%. I think next week is when the Night's End book comes out, so we will at least be out of the nightmare.
We'll see you there.
I just want the Dawn of DC books to be back. Like, I was really liking it. So,
for real, I saw the solicits for next week or the week after, whatever. And I was like, wow, Batman is coming out. Like, Chip Zdarsky's Batman is back. That feels good.
Yeah, we got Wonder Woman on the horizon, too. So there's some light shining down there.
So one of our listeners brought up, Link, by the way. Hello, Link. Yep. Brought up that we weren't reading Monsters Unleashed.
Marvel Unleashed. Marvel Unleashed was that.
Sorry, not Monsters
that Greg Pak event.
Right.
Yeah. Decent event, actually.
And, you guys know that if you want us to read a book, the best way to do it is to let us know in the comments. You can write us an email at the contact at thecomicspals@gmail or contact at thecomicspals.com.
Correct.
You can also leave us a message in our Discord. That's the most immediate way we're going to see it and be aware of it. So if you want us to read a book, let us know. Or if you want it to be on the poll, at the very least, let us know. But he brought it up, and I thought, you know what? Screw it. Let's give it a shot. Let's see how it is. So I decided to read it, and Tyler ended up reading it too. So I wanted to spend a few minutes talking about this book. It was written by Kyle Starks, who I really like. We did an interview with Kyle.
You did.
That's out on our channel. You guys can check out. With art by Jesus Hervas and colors by Yen Nitro. Letters by Joe Caramagna. Now, this is not a book for me. Like, no. 100% not. I would literally not have bought this or bought it, read it, anything if it wasn't for this show and if it wasn't for Link suggesting it. And boy, am I dumb. Because this book was, if we had read this for the show, this is my pick of the week.
Same, Sean. Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
It was heartwarming. It's literally Homeward Bound Marvel Universe. A little bit of Oliver and Company here and there. Like that's the stuff I like. And also like you put Lockjaw in a book, I'm sold.
Yeah.
I'm sold. I always forget how good the pet animals of the Marvel Universe are. Like you think, oh, DC has Crypto. They got, Speedy, yeah, or Stripe or whatever the cat's name is. But nah, Marvel's got some good ones.
Who are the key figures there?
So in this issue, it's Lockjaw. It kind of starts it off. There's a good Craven Lockjaw fight scene, which is really well done, like the way it's drawn.
Yeah.
And it's Red Wing, Falcon, Lucky, Hawkeye's dog, a new character, so it's D-Dog, who star of the show. Star of the show.
Oh.
D-Man is one of my favorite like F-list Marvel characters. So a dog that just found one of his masks in the garbage. Love it. And then there's Carol Danvers's cat as well.
Goose.
Chewie, I think, is in.
It's Chewbacca.
Yeah,
but it should be Goose. I don't know why it's not
Goose. They need to
Goose.
pick. They need to.
It's a
pick
Flerken.
Yeah. Because the MCU one's Goose, but the comics one is Chewie. But Marvel Snap chose Goose anyway.
Yeah,
it's confusing.
Should be Goose.
But it looks like we're getting Doctor Strange's dog too coming up, so that's exciting.
Bro, we're getting Frog.
I know.
Throg, rather.
Dude, yeah. I did a portrait of Throg. I painted a portrait of Throg in high school that I loved. I don't know where it is, but
D-Dog is now officially my favorite animal in comics.
Dude, D-Dog is so good.
Oh my god, D-Dog is so good. D-Dog is the best dog, and I felt so horrible.
Yeah.
If you read this book, which I think everybody should buy, when you see the dialogue for D-Dog and how bad D-Dog wants to be the greatest dog, the greatest hero ever, not even the greatest animal hero, the greatest hero ever, but has no idea what that even means. And all she really wants is to be told that she's a good girl.
Yep.
Come on. That's unbeatable.
Yeah. The whole bit where so Red Wing's a total asshole. Like I like that too.
I love Red Wing, yeah.
But like how they're talking about, how like, oh, when an animal dies, they go to the Rainbow Bridge and they're met by their owner and they get to live happily ever after. And then D-Dog's just like, but what if I don't have a human? And I was like, oh, no.
Yeah,
no.
Dude, that got me bad. And I love the fact that Red Wing is a douche because, of course, Red Wing is the elite animal. Like, Red Wing has been with the Avengers through thick and thin, every event, basically.
Yeah. You don't even think of him as, like, a pet Avenger, He's like, he's like a sidekick,
Red Wing is elite, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. And then the fact that Chewie in the one fight scene or battle, he just took a nap. Like, typical cat shit.
And by the way, so the art in this is so good. This person, Jesus Hervas, has a very bright future.
Yep.
I couldn't believe this art.
I was expecting like this is no shame on, but I was expecting like a Marvel Unlimited type, No, this was like full on. Like this is a book that had work put into it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
great colors, great everything. This was a very standout book. Kyle Starks delivers here the kind of pet story that you would expect, but there's also so much heart. It's fun. He's got a knack for comedy writing. He's so good at it. I've read a lot of Kyle Stark's work to this point, and every single thing he has done has been great. It's been funny in a way that, for me, is not over the top. I get really turned off really fast by comedy, and this is just right in the pocket of what works. I had a lot of fun with this. Buy this comic.
Yeah, agreed.
You know what? We all also took a look at Ahsoka, which a lot of people have been looking forward to. I might not have been looking forward to Marvel Unleashed, but a lot of people have been looking forward to Ahsoka. I have literally no knowledge or association with Ahsoka in any way.
Same.
I have never seen this
Hmm.
character in any type of medium other than like GIFs on the internet or whatever. I don't know what she sounds like. I don't know what her life is like. I don't know anything about her. So the only thing I know about her is that she is Anakin's apprentice.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
So Sean,
Same.
I actually don't know your status with Star Wars.
So my status with Star Wars is that I feel like I am on the edge of being a Star Wars fan because
Got it.
I think that so much of what has been done,
Which way?
the way out.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay. Got
Because
it.
I think so much of what has been done just hasn't been very good.
Yeah.
The Mandalorian I have liked, but everything else has just been to me. I didn't like Andor at all. I thought it was bad.
Oh, yeah, we've talked about this. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was very boring.
That's wild to me.
I didn't like the Rise of Skywalker, but I think that's a pretty
Yeah.
commonly held opinion. And I didn't care about Obi-Wan. I tried, I wanted to, didn't care. The Book of Eli, the Book of whoever was bad.
Yeah,
too.
Boba Fett was blind the whole time. Yeah.
But this was what I've been waiting for.
Okay, and that's
Ahsoka was fantastic.
No,
that's
come on.
interesting.
Yes.
Coming from
Dude, are
somebody
you
who has
serious?
no
Wait,
skin in
who are
the
you
game
talking
for
to?
Ahsoka.
Sorry, I'm talking to you, Kale.
Yeah.
Damn,
what
I'm
was
sorry.
he? Okay.
I'm sorry. I've been on you. Like it's not intentional.
That's
It's
what I
just
mean.
you
You've been
bad
on
bad
me, yo.
opinions is what I'm trying to tell you.
Homie, we've been doing this for how long? You and I have been doing this for
Yeah.
way longer. Like,
I was expecting a little heat back, but okay.
man, who plays Ahsoka?
Rosario,
What's this
Rosario
lady's
Dawson.
name?
Yeah. Rosario
Say it again.
Dawson.
Sorry.
Rosario Dawson.
What? Wait, what?
How did you not
You didn't know that?
No. Holy shit! What?
Yeah, she dumped Cory Booker and then went to this.
She does nothing for Ahsoka.
Kale,
Period.
are you a Rebels fan?
I never got to Rebels,
Clone Wars?
but I do know Clone Wars.
Okay.
Yeah. I just like there is the only thing that translates in the character of Ahsoka through this for me is the look, and frankly, the prosthetics in the show look god awful.
Oh, what? No.
That I agree with.
No.
That headpiece that she was
Yeah,
wearing
I
looked
mean-
like you could have got that at fucking Walmart.
Galaxy's
Target.
Edge sells them now, I bet.
It's bad.
The
Spirit-
texture on it, like you can see the wrinkles and stuff.
You can
You'll
see
see
the
it at Spirit
foam
Halloween here in
wrinkles.
a month,
No.
Dude, it
And
looks like
it'll-
just a helmet.
and it'll look better.
It looks like a headdress. It's really bad.
It's really
Twilight's are cool looking. That's a part of their head, and you cannot tell that from this show. I agree with Kale on that one.
bad.
Yeah, I
She's
don't
not a
disagree with
Twi'lek,
that.
but the Twi'lek also did look very,
Oh,
very.
wait,
The Twilight looked horrible. She's not a Twilight. What is she?
The
I
the
don't
green
know.
one's a Twilight, right?
They're
Yeah,
yeah.
something
Yeah.
ooned something. What?
No,
What'd you say, Ty?
They have a different name. They're not Twi'leks. She's she's like Shakti. Shakti was this right?
Right.
That
Oh,
sounds
okay.
familiar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Togruta. They're
We talked a
Togrutas.
lot about it on the show. Tyler, your mic's doing something funny.
Is it
If
really?
somebody's talking,
Okay.
you're not getting in.
Yeah, that's a typical Tyler problem. Go
They're
ahead, Kale.
Togrutas. That's what they're called.
Groom does?
Togrutas.
Groot.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Oh, Manny. Yeah, Manny just Togruta.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. I felt like it was slow. I felt like it stuff lingered, and it was just like oh, and the opening was 3 different science fiction references. Do you guys catch that?
What
So-
was the opening again? The crawl,
do you
or are you talking?
No, like the opening introduction to all the characters. So
is
you've
that
got the
Indiana
sis.
Jones.
No, it was Guardians. So you've got the Sith busting into the spaceship. That's Darth Vader. Obviously, that's A New Hope. The introduction of Ahsoka is Peter Quill in the first Guardians, and then Sabine is James Kirk in the J.J. Abrams Star Trek.
Ah.
Oh,
And
I read
was
it.
just
Yeah.
like, I just felt like it was all just so derivative and kind of boring.
It's
Like it
so
didn't even have anything cool to do from what it took from those. It just took them.
So you're right, it is derivative, but I think it's purposely derivative because the first episode is literally the foil to the opening of Phantom Menace. Almost shot by shot in the way over-the-shoulder shots are done. It's Sith. We don't really know what they are. They have orange lightsabers. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah.
It's the Qui-Gon Obi-Wan dynamic, just
Yeah, sure.
reversed. And even
But
with
but that's a reverse Darth Vader.
reverse Darth Vader, technicality no damn boo over.
Star Wars is like poetry. It rhymes. We know.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Technicality, no damn boo over.
I agree with some of the things you said, Kale. I do think the headpiece was a little much. I mean, give me Mary Elizabeth Winstead as a Twi'lek, then you've been going into my dreams, and I don't like it.
Any day of the week.
And the parts there were parts that were really slow. I think specifically like the Indiana Jones extended sequence where we have to linger on everything to see how this video game puzzle works. I'm like, I've done this in Star Wars Fallen Survivor already. It's fine. But I do like the high Jedi lore we're getting into. I like the Thrawn is kind of this looming presence over everything. I think in my Star Wars fandom right now, I'm a big Star Wars fan. I have Star Wars tattoos. This is a thing for me. But the stuff I find the most interesting is not really this Mandalorian stuff. I'm really interested in the High Republic stuff. So if we can get to ancient Jedi stuff in this too, which I think we'll be touching with what's his face, Ezra and stuff like that. Not that Ezra, Sean. I know you.
That's all I could think of.
Yeah.
That menace.
He sort of
I'm
looks
interested.
like them, though.
Also, Clancy Brown showing up, loved it.
Was that to do with the voice?
Oh, that is the dude with the voice, Clancy Brown. That's
Yo,
Mr.
that
Krabs
was some
right there.
voice, dude. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's Mr. Krabs. He's
Oh yeah.
he does all the
Clancy
voices, yeah.
Clancy Brown was the guy that was the senator making the big speech.
Yep. Yeah.
Right.
That
Who
Sabine
he
was
played him
supposed
in
to
Rebels
attend.
too. Yeah.
Yo, man, they got me with Sabine.
Hell yeah, dude.
Oh.
They got me with Sabine.
So yeah, and I like how they're finally really trying to get into the whole Sabine being Ahsoka's apprentice, because Ezra was oh god, what's his face's apprentice previously, but Ahsoka was very much anti-Jedi Order and Rebels. So her trying to almost right the wrongs of what Darth Vader did. I think that's a story that really needs to be told, especially since he's still alive and Darth Vader's gone at this point.
right.
And she had no real hand in that. Yeah, I think that should be interesting. And R.I.P. Ray Stevenson, but he's cool, and I like this character, and I want to see what these orange lightsabers mean.
Balin. Yeah.
Balin Skull, and the other one's name is Sane and Hati or something. So it's Hati and Skull, which are the wolves in
Norse
Norse
lore.
mythology.
lore,
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
that bring about Ragnarok. So I'm
Oh,
wondering if
Yes,
cool.
absolutely.
I'm pretty sure the way I'm seeing is that this is going to be what starts what happens in Rise of Skywalker, and how Palpatine was in this other world building up this army and stuff. I think this is the beginnings of the return of the First Order here, or the start of the First Order, I guess it would be.
Man, I'm hard disagreeing everything you guys are saying. The pacing I thought was excellent. I thought the prosthetics
liked it.
frankly worked for me. I liked the variation of lightsabers. I feel like you get your same colors and shit going on.
Well,
And
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I'll show up for a lightsaber any day.
and the fact that she had a long and then a short, I'm like, yo, that's such a subtle, nuanced little thing that blew me away. I'm like, wow, I never thought you could have a slightly shorter, like it's almost like having a long sword and a short sword. Like that distinction is so simple, and it worked incredibly effectively in the opening. I love the way that she gets introduced. I liked how slow and how kind of methodical it felt. It's like I don't know who this character is. Like I don't have an association beyond maybe like a few episodes of Clone Wars, frankly. And I can understand that, okay, this is a character who was once Anakin's Padawan, and Anakin, he's a little shit sometimes. You know, like as a Jedi Knight having his own Padawan, I can imagine he breaks rules. I can imagine he's very flexible. And now she's not that. She seems to be very tempered. She seems to be very direct. She seems to be very just composed. And that in contrast to where I can imagine a teacher Anakin would be is very distinct. And I like how far away she can get from him. And then that layer of sort of guilt and making up for the fact that Darth Vader just fucked shit up, and she can carry some of that. Oh, excellent! I don't know. I only saw the first episode, but an absolute blast. Yeah. I cannot wait to see the second one. But a lot of fun.
David Tennant's in it too. That's neat.
All of it.
A waste.
I gotta say, I also loved it. I thought that the first half was slow, but I think it picked up, and by the end, my jaw was agape at how it ended. They made me care about this character, and then that turn, I was like, oh boy, what's gonna happen next? I'm on the hook, and I'm glad we watched it. This was cool, dude. This was cool.
Episode 2 is better, in my opinion. So if you haven't gotten to that, that's
the second episode.
I've been watching this. I watched this, and I bookended it with 2 episodes of And Just Like That. So, are you watching, Sean?
Oh my god, dude! Listen, I am obsessed. I love Sex in the City. I've been obsessed with the Sex in the City since 1998. I love it. I went to see both movies in theaters with my aunt. It was amazing. I'm a huge fan.
So I've only seen And Just Like That.
Why the hell are we talking about Star Wars?
I can't contribute to a Sex and the City conversation.
Listen, I can't either, but I'd be a lot more interested in hearing about it.
It is this season. So Sean, for reference, I mean, we can keep talking about this. I've only seen And Just Like That in like a handful of Sex and the City episodes.
What?
Yeah. So all I know is how horrible these people are.
Fake fan.
Wow.
And I'm enjoying it.
And Just Like That without watching all of Sex in the City.
It's enough in my consciousness, you know. Carrie, Samantha, Miranda, and Charlotte are archetypes, you know.
Yeah, I guess.
Even though in Just Like That, it was like, well, let's give each of them a POC. But
Word.
It's yeah.
And Just Like That is so transparent about it too.
Oh yeah.
That it really rubbed my ass the wrong fucking way.
Yeah.
Especially Miranda's.
Oh yeah.
Miranda's person. That was really tough to take. That was the worst part of the pandemic summer for me. was dealing with that person every week. My girlfriend and I hated her. Hated them so much.
Miranda's story arc is what?
It's so weird. But Miranda's like that. Miranda takes chances and she does weird stuff. She does in spaces, because look at Steve. Steve is not someone that you would think Miranda would end up with. My man has one ball, okay? He's a different type of dude.
I don't know the lore of his one ball.
She's a lawyer. But she goes for the one ball guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, she'll do something funky. So when she decides that she wants to get with that person, I was like, all right, yeah, that makes sense to me. I don't know. I had my ups and downs with And Just Like That.
I have gotten a severe case of class rage from watching And Just Like That. Look at this, Vaith. We're in the post comics part of the show. We're
I'm
talking about.
so sorry.
We read a Jean Grey book, and I have never seen Sean so passionate.
I've never talked about this really.
Sean got
so.
Sean got exactly what he's always wanted this week, and he had a better time talking about Sex in the City.
Hey, finales today. So.
Yeah, man, and what a
God. All they
what a
do is
cameo.
sit at expensive
cameo.
lunches and complain to each other, but they never listen to each other. They just complain over each other. Oh, it's
Incredible.
All right, we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there. That's fun. I can't believe I just talked about Sex in the City.
And just like that, the podcast is done.
There you go. Hey,
that again.
let us know how you felt about that end conversation there about Star Wars and stuff like that. If you're into that, if you want to hear us talk about maybe different kinds of things here after we do the book reviews, if you're into that, let us know. As usual, thank you all so much for joining us. I did want to say real quick, I will be absent for a couple weeks, and I'm going to miss you all. It's going to be, I'm going to be having fun, but I will be thinking about you guys. And I hope that you three, take good care of the audience. And audience, I hope that you guys take good care of the pals. I'm putting Kale in charge. Listen to Kale.
Ooh.
Have fun in
Kale.
Batu,
Kale.
Sean. Have fun in Batu.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Damn.
So if you step out of line, you're going to have to deal with Kale. And Kale will tell me.
We got a whole ocean.
Yeah.
He can't do anything.
Kale's a fucking narc. Don't even try. You step out, I'm going straight to Sean.
This is oregano, I swear.
Thanks so much for listening, guys. You guys know how to find us all over the internet. Patreon.com/thecomicspals is the best way to support your boys. You get a little bang for your buck. We got a lot of fun stuff going on over there, so check that out. If you want to watch this show live, that's every single Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Saturdays for the main show, which is at 10:15 a.m. Eastern. Vote in the listener pick poll, which is up every single Friday on youtube.com/thecomicspals in the community tab. Vote for your favorite book. This week it was Penguin. That was a miss for us, but let us know what you think for next week, and we'll be reviewing it right here on the show. Thank you for joining us so much. We love you. We thank you. Till next week, take care, guys.